Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Okay, doctors, what I want to talk about today is the power of keeping spinal injuries simple. The power of keeping spinal injuries simple. It makes you probably in the top 2% of the market if you can do this, if you can do what I'm explaining to you on this podcast. So when a person injures themselves, there's a thing called a mechanism of injury. Mechanism is just, we're going to define some terms here first. So mechanism of injury, mechanism is the force delivery system. A knife is a mechanism. You can be around knives all day long and never get cut, but if you get cut, it doesn't look like a burn because there's another mechanism. Hot grease is a mechanism, and it leaves a different injury pattern behind. A gun is a different mechanism. A gunshot wound looks different than a knife wound, looks different than a burn. Dog bite, all look different. Now let's take a look at the spine. So we have mechanism of injury. What is injury defined as? An injury is defined as a derangement of a body part or parts. It's a derangement. It's called a lesion. It's called a wound. In the AMA impairment guides, they say an impairment is a loss. I cut your arm off, you lost it. Loss of use of, I cut the nerve to your arm, you can't use it. All derangements. Amputation is a derangement. A loss of an arm is a derangement of the body. Cutting the nerve is a derangement of the nerve. Or, so loss of use of, or derangement of a body part. Organ or organ system. Body parts. If they derange, they're injured. So mechanism is the force delivery system, and the injury is the derangement that's left behind. That's what it is. So I know you heard the phone in the background. I'm recording and I don't actually have my phone off, so I have it off now. So the mechanism is the force delivery system, and the injury is the derangement that's left behind. Now, when I say keep spinal injury simple, I don't care who somebody has been through. There's a lot of programs that try to teach doctors to try to get them into personal injury or get them into work comp injury spaces and get them more market share and go out to talk to attorneys and go out to talk to other medical doctors. And they have these certification programs and they put them through all kinds of certification programs and training. And that's great. I don't have any problem with education. I don't have any problem with people basically investing in their own education and their own, in themselves. As a matter of fact, I have a program called the Smart Injury Doctors Program that we help doctors do the same thing. And I think doctors primarily should invest in themselves and invest in their business so their businesses can provide them with a level of income that allows them to invest in other things that will create passive income for them long term and help them to become financially free. So in our program, we try to get the doctors to be the best doctors in the country. And I am very proud of the smart injury doctors that I have trained, and I think they are some of the best doctors in the country today. I think they should be some of the highest paid doctors in the country because they understand the simplicity of the spinal injury and they can get good results with it. So anything that you understand, you can somewhat be responsible for and have some control over. And part of having the control over is to have a control over the outcomes. Provide patients with better outcomes, but you got to keep the injury simple. A spine only has two tissues. It's just bone and connective tissue. It's bones connected by connective tissue. It's intricate, there's a lot of joints, but basically it's bones and connective tissue. So if you're going to damage something, you have to derange something. You either derange the bone or the connective tissue. Two connective tissues. There's the disc and the non-disc ligaments. The non-disc ligaments, how you determine how they're damaged with imaging biomarker called excessive motion. The more excessive motion, the more damage to the spinal support ligament. The disc is picked up with MRI, and its imaging biomarker is herniation, bulge. How far is it deranged, damaged? That's the simplicity of spinal injuries. Now, when you can say that, so if I went out to a dog bite expert and said, what does a dog bite expert look like? And they couldn't describe to you what a dog bite looks like, What the hell kind of dog bite expert would it be? A gunshot wound expert that can't tell you what a gunshot wound looks like. How about today in the spinal injury market, a spinal expert that can tell you what a spinal injury looks like? That's the rarity. They can't tell you what it looks like. They can't tell you, oh my gosh, there's only 3 ways you can derange a spine: fracture, excessive motion, and disc herniation, or combinations thereof. Because there's only 2 tissues. If the arm were only 2 tissues and you're just dealing with skin and bone, you would work up a skin injury or bone injury and variations of both. And that's what you'd be working up. In the spine, no different. Bone and connective tissue, excessive motion, disc herniation, and fracture. Now, what happens to you once you understand this, right? And for those of you that are listening to this program right now, you're going to go, that is too damn simple. That's why it's so damn powerful. It is simple. When something's understood, it is simple. And if 100% of the doctors in the market today understood how a spine damages when it is damaged, chronicity rates in the United States would probably be 1/10 of what they are today. Maybe less. Okay, so part of my goal has been to standardize spinal injury workups. Spinal injury workups should be just as standard as going to the dentist and having a cavity workup. You can go to any dentist, any place in the country. You're going to walk in, you're going to tell them I have pain in the tooth, or it feels soft, or I have a funny sensation in my tooth. They're going to locate that tooth. They're going to pick at it, see if it's soft. They're going to take an x-ray. They're going to see how much of a carie there is, how much of a cavity there is. They're going to make a determination on what they're going to do. They're going to drill and fill. No, this one's too damaged. We're going to have to do a root canal, whatever. They're going to have a treatment plan, and almost every dentist is going to do it the same way. And in the dental industry, they've done very, very well because their procedures are standardized. It doesn't matter. I can go to a holistic dentist. I can go to a non-holistic dentist. And basically, I'm going to get very similar treatment plans. If I have a cavity, they're going to locate it. They're going to pick at it. They're going to x-ray it. They're going to make a determination. They're going to drill it, and they're going to fill it. Now, some of the things that they may use ozone. They may use all kinds of other things that may definitely tell you they're not using mercury amalgam. That's a good idea. So, you know, it's the bottom line is what I want you to get, though, is that it's very standard. Spinal injuries should also be just as standard and just as simple. Because when you understand the simplicity of a spinal injury, you understand how to work it up. You understand how to improve the condition. You understand how to treat it. You understand how to document it. Your documentation is powerful enough that it allows the patient access to any benefits they're entitled to. And that is the key to the personal injury practice. The personal injury practice that is spine injury related, you want to keep these injuries very, very simple, and your understanding of them simple. It's very, very, if I'm in a deposition or if I'm in a trial, I know a lot of times the experts, I've talked to experts all day long. People say, oh, I'm certified in this. I'm a certified trauma expert. I'm certified. I've taken all kinds of programs. I've had all this education in school and all this outside education. I say, all right, great. Well, let me just ask you a question on spine. Spine's just got 2 tissues, right? Yeah. This is bone and connective tissue, right? Yeah. So if the spine is injured, how does it derange? And basically, again, when I've just asked them, hey, if a dog bites you, what does the injury look like? And if they can't tell you, I don't care how much certification, I don't care how many programs they've been through. It just doesn't matter to me because they don't fully understand the condition that they're treating. And when they don't fully understand the condition that they're treating, one, their results are not going to be as good. Their documentation is not going to be as good. Their marketing is not going to be as good. Their referrals are not going to be as good. Their reimbursements are not going to be as good. Their relationships are not going to be as good. Their medical referrals are not going to be as good. Their mild traumatic brain injury connection referral relationships are not going to be as good. I know that that's what's going to happen. And I know that when they do know how the spine deranges, they change those providers because I've seen it now. Over the last 4 or 5 years in our Smart Injury Doctors program, you can see the doctors change. You can see the confidence level change. You can see their ability to go, wow, I got this. I am the expert. I don't have to bow down anymore to anyone. I was just on a coaching call before I jumped on this podcast. And one of the things I ask doctors in this program is just go out and ask a doctor. Like if you're listening, you're a doctor right now and you're listening to this, and now you can say, okay, excessive motion, disc herniation, and fracture, right? You can say it, but I want you to go out and ask or think about 5 minutes before you knew this, what did you think? How did a spine injury? And if you didn't know, think about the fact that you've been treating these injuries. A lot of you have been treating these and didn't know. And think about what would happen if you did know. You'd change. Your professional practice would change. I know it changed me when I understood it. And it changes the doctors in our program. I watch them change. And it's a beautiful thing. And I understand and then get them to understand that they should be the most utilized and the highest paid doctors in the market today because of the problem that they solve. So you want to keep your understanding of these injuries very simple. If you want to do a really fun exercise, just go out and ask the next expert or next 10 experts that are experts of the spine injuries, hey, how does the spine derange? If the spine damages and it injures, what do the injuries look like? And just see what they say. They're not going to tell you, oh, either fracture, you got excessive motion, or you got disc herniation. If I have somebody that says that, I say, okay, great, how do you work them up? A lot of times, a person's going to go, well, we really don't work that up. I just know it, and I say it because it answers a question, but we really don't do it. No, you could do it if you want to. I mean, anybody that's listening right now, if you have somebody that knows it but doesn't use it or do it, what do you call that? So, that to me is not, again, that's not an expert. That's not somebody who I would look upon as an expert. So, doctors, if you're out there and you like what I just said and you want to know more about our program, you just call us at 800-940-6513. Look us up at www.smartinjurydoctors.com. Give us a call. If you want to see a demonstration of the program, call me. I'll demonstrate it to you because we make doctors' lives who take this program a lot simpler. So doctors, as always, keep it simple, short, to the point. I just want to riff on this topic for a little bit, talk about it for a little bit. I appreciate your time, your attention that you give to me. I appreciate what you do in the market, and I look forward to putting together more content for you on the next podcast. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.